The apartment upstairs. It started on my first night in the new apartment. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to adjust to the odd creaks and groans of the old building. But then, I heard it, footsteps. Slow and deliberate, they paced back and forth in the apartment above mine. It was late, well past midnight. I thought, who moves furniture at this hour? A heavy thud followed, like someone dropped a dresser. I rolled over, pulled a pillow over my head, and told myself it was none of my business. The next morning, the noises were easier to ignore. It was New York City, after all, everyone lived on top of each other. But by the third night, I was losing patience. The pacing had become incessant, the thuds more frequent. It was as if someone upstairs couldn't decide where to put their furniture, dragging it around for hours. By the fourth night, I couldn't take it anymore. I marched upstairs and knocked on the door. My frustration fueled me as I pounded louder. Nothing. The door stood silent. No lights showed beneath the frame, no muffled sounds from inside, just the quiet hum of the hallway light. I knocked again, harder this time, but still, no answer. The landlord wasn't exactly helpful when I confronted him the next day. "Are you sure someone's living up there?" I asked, trying to keep my tone neutral. He gave me a strange look. "There's no one in 4B. That unit's been empty for months." I felt the air leave my lungs. "No, there's someone. I hear them every night." He shook his head, frowning. "No one's been up there. If it's bothering you, I'll take a look." He grabbed a ring of keys, and together, we climbed the stairs to the fourth floor. My heart pounded as he unlocked the door to 4B. The apartment was cold. Dust coated every surface, undisturbed except for the faint trails of our footprints. The air smelled stale, like wood left to rot. It was empty, no furniture, no signs of life. But then, I saw it. In the corner near the window, the floor was scarred with jagged marks. Long scratches dug deep into the wood, as if something with claws had tried to gouge its way out. "What the hell?" I muttered, but the landlord just shrugged. "Probably nothing," he said, turning to leave. But I couldn't tear my eyes away from those marks. That night, the noises came back, louder and closer. The footsteps no longer stayed confined to the unit above. They moved down the walls, into the vents, and I swear I could feel the vibrations in my bed. At one point, I thought I heard whispering, low, guttural sounds I couldn't quite make out. Then, it stopped. I woke the next morning with a strange feeling in my chest, like I'd held my breath all night. That's when I noticed the scratches. Deep grooves ran down my bedroom door, parallel lines as though something had clawed at it in the dark. I called the landlord again, my voice shaking as I demanded answers. He brushed me off, insisting it was my imagination. But I couldn't shake the dread that clung to me. The final straw came a few nights later. I had just stepped out of the shower when I noticed something written on the fogged mirror. "Don't look up." My blood turned to ice. I froze, staring at the words as they dripped down the glass. Then, as if compelled by some unseen force, I tilted my head back. And there it was. A face, pale and hollow-eyed, staring down at me from the dark corner of the ceiling. Its mouth stretched wide in a silent scream, and its long, clawed hands clung to the wall like an insect. I don't remember much after that. I know I ran, barefoot and soaking wet, out into the street. I left everything behind, my clothes, my laptop, even my wallet. I moved in with a friend that same night, too afraid to ever go back. The landlord called me a few times, asking when I planned to collect my things, but I ignored him. To this day, I still wonder what was in that apartment. What had been pacing above me, scratching at my door, whispering through the vents. Whatever it was, it wanted me to look up. The subway screamer. The last train of the night is an eerie thing. The carriages are almost empty, the hum of the tracks amplified in the silence, and every shadow feels like it's creeping closer. I didn't think much of it when I boarded, just grateful to sit down after a grueling day at work. There were only a few other passengers, one man engrossed in his phone, a couple leaning on each other, half asleep. Then, at the next station, she got on. She sat at the far end of the carriage, her posture unnaturally stiff, her hands folded tightly in her lap. I wouldn't have noticed her at all if not for the way she stared straight ahead, her lips moving. At first, I thought she was muttering to herself, maybe reciting a to-do list or humming a song under her breath. But it wasn't that. As the train pulled away from the station, her whispers grew louder, more frantic. I leaned forward slightly, trying to catch what she was saying. It didn't make any sense, guttural sounds, gibberish, almost like a chant. Her body stayed perfectly still, her eyes fixed on some distant point, but her mouth moved faster and faster, the whispers becoming a low hiss. The other passengers were starting to notice too. The man with the phone glanced up, frowning, and the couple shifted uncomfortably. I felt a prickle of unease crawl up my spine, but I told myself she was just odd. Maybe unwell. I didn't want to stare, but it was impossible not to. And then, the lights flickered. For a brief second, the carriage plunged into darkness, the sound of the train rumbling through the tunnel the only thing grounding me. When the lights came back, she was still there, but something had changed. Her head was tilted slightly to the side, and her lips had stopped moving. Instead, she was staring directly at me. I froze. Her eyes were wide, unblinking, and something about them felt wrong. Too bright, too hollow, like they were looking through me rather than at me. The lights flickered again, and this time, when the carriage went dark, I heard it. A scream. It was high-pitched and raw, a sound that tore through the air and sent every hair on my body standing on end. When the lights came back, the woman was standing now, her rigid posture gone. She was swaying slightly, her head cocked at an unnatural angle, her mouth stretched into a wide grin. The scream hadn't come from her. I was gripping the edge of my seat, my knuckles white, when the train screeched to an unexpected halt. We were in the middle of a tunnel, no station in sight. The hum of the tracks died, leaving an oppressive silence. And then, in the flickering light, I saw it. Behind the woman, something was standing. It was tall and impossibly thin, its limbs twisted like broken tree branches. Its face, or what I thought was its face, was a distorted mass of shadow and teeth, grinning wider than anything human could. The lights flickered again, and it was gone. The woman collapsed into her seat, her rigid posture returning, her lips moving once more. I wanted to scream, to get up and run, but I was frozen in place. When the train started moving again, it felt like hours had passed, though it couldn't have been more than a minute. The woman's whispers had stopped entirely, and she sat motionless, staring straight ahead once more. And then, just before we pulled into the next station, the lights flickered one last time. When they came back, the woman was gone. The doors hadn't opened. No one had seen her leave. The other passengers and I exchanged uneasy glances, but no one said a word. When the train finally stopped at the station, I bolted, taking the stairs 2 at a time. My heart was racing, my breath coming in short gasps. Later, I learned about the screamer. Stories about her have been circulating for years, a ghostly figure who appears on the underground before tragedy strikes. Some say she's a warning, others claim she's the cause. I don't know what I saw that night, but I haven't stepped foot on the underground since. And I'll never forget those eyes, staring through me in the flickering light.